Bienvenidos a Last One y nos vamos. You guys, y ahora es un día muy especial. ¿Y por qué estoy hablando en español? ¿Por qué sería que estoy hablando en español ahora? Y es súper especial.
No sé, porque parece que el sabadito lindo querido es
I love that.
Day.
México lindo y querido. Ay, disculpen las orejas. Yes, guys. Saturday, right?
Yes.
Saturday es el Día de la Independencia de México.
Yes, it is.
Are we so excited about qué vamos a hacer? ¿Qué planes tenemos?
Well, I know Mexico does a big thing starting Saturday to Sunday.
Do you know what would be so awesome to go to?
It sure will be awesome
to go see the grito. Donde hacen el grito.
Yes.
Yeah, guys. So, how many years? Like 213 years ago, Mexico dijo, you know what? I'm tired of this, Grandpa. And they decided to, they ended up going for, they went in a war for about 10 years.
Yes.
No, not 10 years, 11 years. 11 years. I'm like, the math wasn't mathing up. So 11 years. And fun fact, so se celebra el Día de Independencia el 16 de septiembre.
Okay.
Right?
¿Por qué?
So, el 16 de septiembre de ¿qué viene siendo?
De 1810.
Gracias. El 1810, México empezó la batalla it took a whole 11 years for them to gain their independence. Y el 27 de septiembre del 2000, hoy no más.
Ya no fui a la guerra.
Del 1821 fue cuando, when they actually finally got their independence. So, yo creo que lo que están contando fue cuando empezó todo. Like, that's something that's being celebrated.
But I believe it was September 27, correct?
Yeah, so September 27. So el septiembre 27 fue cuando, that's when they, se acabó todo. They said, Victoria, whatever.
Against
and then
who?
they said, against los españoles.
Así es.
So los españoles said, wah, wah, wah. And Mexico said, Viva Mexico.
Hey, crazy thing. My mom was born on September 27.
That's right.
That's crazy. I didn't know that fact from her.
That's right.
Ay, perdón, en su día.
Feliz cumpleaños a la mamá de Lorenzo. We don't want to say her name.
Jay.
Okay, the Jay. Sorry. And it's Jasmine's birthday on the 16th too.
Oh, mírala. ¿Es mexicana?
Yeah, she's Mexican. No, yeah, because I was like, wait, you're Mexico's like, it's an Independence Day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so.
Así recuerda su birthday, huh?
I know. I'm pretty sure they've done it pretty big. I don't know if they celebrate it. I don't know if she does celebrate it, but.
Whoa. If you're seeing this, Jasmine, let us know.
Yeah, happy birthday, girl. Any Hooters. She loves it when I say that.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, guys. So thanks to the blood, sweat, and tears. I don't know if we're allowed to say blood, but I said it. But yeah, there was a lot of, they had to go through a lot. So thanks to them winning their independence, we're able to go to Mexico. You're able to go to Mexico. Almost everyone's able to go to Mexico, right?
Yes.
So Mexico, man,
basically be born. Thanks to them, we were born as well.
You were born in Mexico too.
Sí, pero también eres mexicana y you were born
cheers
as
to
a
that.
Mexican.
Cheers to that. Cheers. Yes. Cheers to you being born Mexican.
Day.
Cheers to Mexicans' independence.
And to everybody that basically won the war.
Everyone who won the war, thank you. Cheers to that, guys. 1, 2, 3. No, hold on. Pa' arriba, pa' abajo, pa' el centro y pa' adentro. Pa' el centro.
Ay.
Okay.
Es una profesional, gente. Ya necesita chaser.
No, I do. Because no me lo tomé bien because I didn't take a deep breath in. I was like...
There's a limit of chaser if you want.
No,
and what more than celebrating with tequila on September, for Independence Day? Because that's basically our known alcohol.
Yep.
Or liquor, to be exact.
I know. And where did I learn that you have to take a deep breath in? When we went to taste it, no me acuerdo where I ended up learning that. But anywho, so yes, Mexico, they just have a beautiful culture, and thankfully, now that I got older, now that I'm older, I'm able to embrace the culture a little bit more. Because growing up, I didn't know much about the culture. I just knew that it was Mexico. My parents weren't in Mexico, and that my parents and their ranchos.
That you were Mexican and
that
your
I was
parents were
Mexican. My parents are Mexican. Y los ranchos y que los terrenos y que da 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 da.
I know. I think that's one of the first words we learned, huh? Rancho.
El rancho. I know. Anytime that I say, "Oh, tu rancho," but you weren't even born in a rancho, so I apologize.
Okay.
I apologize because I'm always saying rancho, but I'm like,
I bet in one time on Earth was
once upon a time. Yeah,
No.
once upon a time, it was a little ranchito. So yeah, guys. So I mean, like I said, Mexico has a beautiful culture, and I feel like I've been able to. I've had the opportunity to be exposed to it. Well, we've both been able to experience our culture a little bit more. We have had the opportunity to go to Mexico like a bunch of times.
Y juntos.
Y juntos. Ciao, ciao. We've gone to a couple trips, and some of those trips have been, like the very touristy areas, and some of those places, like they talk about, like we've had the opportunity to learn about tequila, and we've had the opportunity to learn about chocolate, and even like within our own culture, we learned like language, animals, like so many things that we didn't think made Mexico, and it's not. And it pretty much just dates it back from like way back then. Sorry, go ahead.
And I'm not trying to throw you off, but it is crazy because it's, the neighborhood of the states here in the United States. But you go over there to the Caribbean. That's crazy how we do have Caribbean in Mexico. And when you see the animals, you're like, what the heck? You wouldn't expect that.
I know. Yeah. So with that being said, I want to just share a couple of some of my favorite facts.
Okay.
And if you want to share some of your favorite facts, you guys, you too, if you guys want to share some of your favorite facts for those of you who are watching, for those of you who are listening, because I know sometimes, we just got to put something on so that we can be listening. So if you're trapeando, if you're, I don't know,
cocinando,
working
out, algo que yo no estoy haciendo ahorita, pero.
So I hope you guys enjoy some of these fun facts, and feel free to chime in. You too, Lenchito, if you want to chime in and share some of your fun facts. So, or just, elaborate on some of mine. So one of the first ones is pretty much empezando con la bandera de Mexico, right? I have it on my shirt. I don't know how many times I've worn this shirt. How many times have I worn? I think it's like 3 times.
No importa. Tú síguele wearing that one.
So the first one is la bandera de México. ¿Cuáles son los colores que tiene la bandera de México? Empezando de la izquierda a la derecha. Wait, derecha, izquierda.
No, vas a confundir a todos los listeners.
I'll point at it. So green está, la bandera de México tiene verde, blanco en el medio, y rojo a
la derecha.
A la derecha. So verde, lo que significa verde es de que representa hope. How do you say hope? Esperanza. So representa esperanza y también representa... Yeah, that's it. Pretty much hope, right? Okay. So hope brings it back to the war, right? Like they were hoping that they would regain their independence. White, la parte blanca de la bandera significa purity. Puridad? Is that how you say? Is that right? A little no
a lo mejor es Spanglish, mi gente, pero ustedes entienden.
So... not impureza, puridad. Yeah, puridad. Wait, what's that water called? Pura.
Pero tú síguele, la gente lo sabe, hombre.
Okay, and then moving on is red. What do you think red stands for? Put it down in the comments.
Tiene que ser básicamente la sangre that was shed.
Yes, period. Yes, so it does stand for blood that was shed, and that's pretty much it for the colors. So what's in the middle? Like, I know we said the white, but what's in the middle of the
Todo
the
lo
flag?
que tenemos los mexicanos nopal en la frente.
I hate you.
Hey, I'm proud of my nopal.
So it's funny because, like, yes, there's a nopal, but what's standing on top of the nopal?
La águila.
La águila. Okay, we're trying to give visuals.
It's not the American eagle.
No, not the American eagle. It's actually the golden eagle, which is actually, I think it's Mexico's national bird. Yeah. So the eagle. So there's a funny story. No, I guess kind of funny story, which takes it back to way back then with the Aztecs. So there was a belief that if an eagle landed wherever it is that an eagle landed, that's going to tell the Aztecs, like, okay, this is where we can
migrate.
This is pretty much where we can migrate. This is where we can start our own little colony, right? So that's how it pretty much started. That supuestamente an eagle landed on top of a cactus, and I can't remember what it was. I didn't see anything about the snake. but it was pretty much it pretty much represents that. Okay, this is where we can start.
Or like ownership, like almost
planting your flag.
Planting a flag.
Yeah, planting a flag. I wonder if that's where the nopal en la frente started.
Who knows?
That's funny. That's a good one. I'm like, if we had a shot, I'd take a shot to that.
Ay. Pues ahí está la botella para que vean, mi gente. También la botella viene de una tequilería de puras damas. So.
Yes. ¿Cómo se llama la tequilería?
La Gritona.
La Gritona, porque at the end of this vamos a andar grita.
De verdad, ya empezamos y vamos a seguirle.
Y esta es la botella famosa de mi vlog. Si no la han visto, tenemos un vlog para mi birthday.
Tenemos. Mejor dicho.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, but thank you. I appreciate it. I didn't really know the effects of the Mexican flag, and thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome. Okay, so second fun fact that we have is our food, right? ¿Quién no conoce que los tacos, que el pozole, que esto y otro? What's your favorite Mexican dish?
Voy a decir los frijoles.
¿Los frijoles? Para andar bien pedo.
Si no es con tequila, es con frijoles.
I know. So what's your favorite dish? Frijoles? You love frijoles?
Like Mexican dish?
Like a Mexican dish. Like, you can be like, damn, I love this. Like
si es algo clásico, pues frijolitos con nopales. Pero si es algo así como más extravagante que no sé cuándo se iniciaron las enchiladas.
Las enchiladas, I know you're always asking for enchiladas.
Con queso y cebolla.
But it's funny because like everyone has like their different way of making enchiladas because the way that my mom makes enchiladas, tu mamá las hace completamente diferente.
Puede ser que unos somos españoles y otros franceses.
I guess so. Así se fue evolucionando la enchilada. A lo mejor la enchilada was probably like picosa, and now my mom doesn't make it spicy.
No, pues ni modo.
Yeah. But fun fact is that the national dish, like the national dish is, guess what? It's your dad's.
Hold on. It's dang, I have it, but I can't say the name. Hold on, no. I know it's my dad's, but I can't remember the name. I know it's Chile, it's de Puebla. It's with rice, with chicken. But I can't remember the name. That is crazy. Yes, I can't remember it. Ahorita I went blank. But I know what it is. Yes, mole.
Yes, the national dish is mole.
Hablando, shout out to Jay porque dijo el otro día, se me antoja un mole. So, si estaba oyendo a Lore, su hijo quiere un mole.
Hoy no más. Hey, ¿cuándo es el día? Because your mom always makes a mole for el día de San Lorenzo,
Era
¿no?
de San Lorenzo, agosto 11 day. No, agosto 10, un day before your birthday.
Yeah, so I'll probably insert a picture of what mole looks para que se les antoje. Like, put it down in the comments. Guys, put it down in the comments. What's your favorite Mexican dish? Like all-time Mexican dish. It's probably something that's not well known, but maybe something that you're.
No, como de que no.
I guess so.
Es lo
right?
que te iba a decir. Igual como las enchiladas, of how you comment that they basically have different styles. Mole is one of the main dishes, and I guess that's why it's probably the main dish. There's way more ways to make mole.
Yeah.
Like they sell you a bunch of, I'm gonna say spices, powder of chilies to be able to make it.
Yeah, so it's pretty mole. That's pretty much what it is. Just like you mentioned, just a mixture of like a bunch of stuff, and eventually and some people even add chocolate. Yeah, some people add chocolate just to and it gives it like a little sweet taste. Yeah, like a little sweet twist. Which brings us to the next thing. Where was it? Was it in ¿Cómo se llama allá en the first trip that we went to? The first trip that we ever went to.
Puerto Vallarta.
Was it in Puerto Vallarta or was it in Cancun where we learned about chocolate? Well, either way.
Cancun is what we learned in Xcaret. So yeah, if you guys ever go to Cancun, make sure if it's your first time, don't miss out in Xcaret.
You guys have to go. Like it's
like
beautiful.
a learning experience. And again, we will go again and again and again.
Ooh,
pero el problema is a little bit expensive, kind of, but worth it. But like we already done it a couple of times, so we kind of, put it on the back end. But if somebody new goes with us, we will be glad to go and take them there.
Ooh, how about we do an episode when we go out there? Yeah, we'll do another episode, guys. But a ver, maybe later on in along the line, like our experience and everything that we've done there. So that's something that we can do. And going on with the chocolate, I mean, just really briefly, I guess that's something that dates it back from the Aztecs as well. Another fun fact. And I did it. And this is something.
You should have learned this one, Escada.
I did. Yeah, that's why I'm bringing it up, because when I was like doing my research, I was like, oh my gosh, I remember that story. Like there was that, like the guy that was in charge of the little,
the chocolate process making.
Yeah, the process of making chocolate. Like, and we literally made chocolate. Oh, I wish I would have gotten rid of it, but it got todo with ants. Okay, because it's like it's something so exciting that, you know, you're learning about your culture, and something so simple that you can just buy from the store. Like, it has freaking history.
What was gonna be your comment about the chocolate though? Was that it, or you had something else? Because I have something, that's why.
Oh, you do?
No, but go for it.
I'll let you go for it.
Because what if I spoil yours? Yeah.
No, it's fine. We probably have the same thing.
Chocolate, guys, back in the day was basically like gold for us. That was our gold trading mark. So instead of us not having gold, the Aztecs would trade chocolate because it was something that the Spaniards didn't know about. So again, every time you guys eat a piece of chocolate and it's basically dark chocolate, remember it as that's your goal for the Mexicans or Latinos maybe as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just along with that, dating it back to like the Aztecs, Moctezuma was the emperor or the ruler of the Aztecs, and I guess they would serve him chocolatl. That's what chocolatl, like TL.
They have a different type of language.
Yeah, like it's they had their own language, of course. It's their native language. I love that. And they would serve him warm chocolate, which is pretty much hot chocolate with us. And they would serve it to him every single day.
Pues yo quisiera hacer él también. Porque yo con mi Nextquil cuando estaba chiquito siempre lo hacía. So mejor uno puro.
Yeah. And, you know, I know we're talking about a lot about chocolate, but they said that the place where you can find the best chocolate is in Oaxaca.
Oaxaca might have to be a place we travel to.
I heard it's beautiful out there too. And I heard that there's a beach out there, so maybe I'll come.
Como ven, mi gente, una sirenita aquí.
I'm special. I love swimming. Like, I mean, like I told you guys before, like I love swimming. Anywhere where the water is like swimmable, I'm gonna go. So going back to Oaxaca and mole. Okay. So, you know, mole is really big in like Oaxaca is very known for like their spices and everything. So maybe that's why their chocolate is well known and that it's better there because they're known for like the spices and all that stuff. So I don't know, just a little thought that I have.
No, it could be.
And last fact, something that we all love around the world probably is tequila. Pour me a shot. Pour me a shot before we get into this one. So while you're pouring a shot, okay, I'll go over the fun facts. And if you guys have, like, guys, drop down in the comments, what's your favorite type of food? What's your favorite tequila? What's your favorite tequila? Like, is it mezcal? Which mezcal is not tequila. I learned that.
It's before being processed.
It's before it being processed and everything, whatever. But okay, so tequila, it pretty much just dates it back again to the Aztecs. So the Aztecs, they would use the sap. The sap from the agave.
Yes.
Yeah, from the agave plant. And they would ferment it and they would pretty much just, you know, drink it for their, not the traditions. Yeah, I guess their traditions, like their ceremonies, like a ritual. And stuff, their rituals and stuff like that. So that's something that they would serve. So, okay, so fast forward in the 1970s, it was declared that tequila was like the national, not the drink, I guess it was pretty much declared that it was like the national thing in Mexico. So pretty much any tequila that like, let's say that
it's like a brand, like they're branded basically. Yeah. It would be branded, meaning like, yes, you made a here, but it's still a brand of Mexico at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's the brand. It was ¿cómo le pusieron? It was declared to be the property of Mexico.
Yeah.
So
almost
now,
like a trademark.
yeah, so yeah, like a trademark. So pretty much anyone who wants to reproduce, who wants to make tequila or something, it pretty much has to go through there and has to be stamped. So I don't know if you noticed that, like whenever you bring tequila from Mexico to like the United States,
That's kind of, there you go. You're helping the viewers to know if tequila is for real. I don't know if this bottle has it, but yeah, a lot of the times bottles do have like a serial number on them.
Yeah.
And you're able to know like, oh, that's classic real tequila, not with wannabe,
like wannabe
whatever,
stuff. Yeah.
Whatever
Yeah.
ingredients they use.
Yeah, so in order for tequila to be considered actual tequila original, it pretty much has to come from the, what's it called, the Tequila Regulatory Council. So they pretty much decide like, okay, yeah, like this is like they give you the official seal, like, yes, this is original, this is good to go. And it's not something that you pretty much just made out in your backyard in Southern California on a sunny afternoon.
Yeah, something that you produce very quick.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I did have a couple more. Actually, no, I have one more. Can I do one more? Do I
Go
have time?
for it.
So we love doggies. You know, we became dog parents 2 years ago. So are you familiar with the national dog? So Mexico has a national dog, and it actually, I didn't know this. The cholo, but the full name se llama.
Yeah, it's a crazy.
Xoloitzunitl.
Yeah, I believe it comes back from the Aztecs as well.
Yeah, and again, it takes it back to our ancestors, the Aztecs. So pretty much, cholo. What is it? Cholotl. It pretty much means that it's a god of lightning and death. Of a natural death, which what the Aztecs were really big on, like, you know, sacrificing to continue receiving goods and da. So, and then the second part, which is Itzunitl, it's just pretty much the word for dog. Itzunitl. Itzunitl. But the word.
Forgive her, guys, but she's trying. She's trying to go back to her roots. It's all good. Thank you for the information. We really appreciate it, because I didn't even know that.
Sorry if I totally butchered this, but this dog, it's pretty much a hairless dog. This dog is completely hairless, and you've probably seen this dog on the movie Coco.
And I've seen it in real life.
Yeah, you have?
Yeah.
Have I?
Somebody had it, and yeah, he's like, I brought it from Mexico.
Nice, dang. No, those dogs they're probably super expensive. But pretty much bringing it back to it, this dog is, and I'll insert a picture of it, but this dog pretty much symbolizes, it's the main symbol, and if you noticed, in the Dia de los Muertos, and I never really noticed it. And I didn't get the point of like why the dog in the movie Coco was, you know, such a big symbol, and why, you know, there was a part where I guess the people who were dead were able to see them, but you know how they say that dogs can see spirits.
Nice.
So that makes sense. So I'm like, oh, okay. So that's pretty much it. Like, it pretty much just symbolizes, it's a really big symbol in the Day of the Dead. And it said that the dog pretty much looks over the people who have passed, in their afterlife. So pretty much
that's crazy.
like
how us have a dog, and you know, back in Egypt they have cats, and they're very protective about cats.
Yeah, and see, that's why they say that a dog is a man's best friend. But not only it's a man's best friend, but it's also a best friend of those who have passed.
Dang, crazy. Well, that was super exciting to knowledge that you brought to us, Margarita.
I know.
Your favorite Margarita here doing work.
Your favorite.
That was nice.
I know it was like fun fact dump, but there was some things that was like, okay, I've known and I would like to share with everybody.
But that especially is coming back, like how we gained our independence even before, you know, we won against the Spaniards. And one fun fact that I'm just going to go throw it out there. Way. Is that I learned that Mexico City is the oldest city in North America, guys. So that means from Canada, the USA, and basically Mexico, that becomes North America. So believe it or not, we could have basically had this whole
everything. We could have ruled
big
the world.
piece of state. As a state, yeah, right.
Yeah.
state, then that would have been nuts.
I know. So como dijo Cyan, Mexico, like people who fought the independence, they walk so that the future generations can run.
Hey, that's
Right?
basically true.
Period. Let's take a shot for that.
Bueno, perdón, a ti tengo que
Clink.
cambiar.
A ver, para arriba, para abajo, para el centro y para adentro.
Yo ya nomás me la quiero tomar, hombre.
Okay. That's some good. It's okay. Oh, it went up.
Se le fue por la nariz, mi gente.
Esa no se toma así.
Bueno, yes, thank you. We learned a little bit of independence, but we did have one of our viewers brought out something last week about, I'm not going to say more to the sad side, but it's basically something that is happening here in San Bernardino and probably everywhere where there's big cities. Mm-hmm. And it is sad to see, but this is something we have to live with, and maybe in the future we can come up with ideas and make it better. Mm-hmm. So El Coyote, shout out to him for bringing it out. He did say that there was a lot of homeless here, and there is, and I think we have seen it especially this year grow
Here in San Bernardino,
significant amount, and there is a lot to it. Meaning a lot because there could be, from people losing their jobs, from not having a shelter, like
mental instability
under their head, of having a roof, the rent, how high they are. So there's a lot to it. But here in San Bernardino, unfortunately, we did go to state of emergency for homeless at the beginning of the year. So almost 3 out of 4 people live unsheltered.
3 out of 4?
3 out of 4.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. And we kind of don't see it or pay attention to it. But that's almost, if you have una 4 bedroom or even a 2 or 3, you're not even completing. To imagine like you having that room, you should be thankful, because if you only have a 2-bedroom, one is missing a shelter, and that basically represent almost as the homeless. Mm-hmm. They're missing their shelter as well. And sad to say, but 1 out of 14 kids has an unsheltered as well.
That's so sad.
Somebody that goes to school, guys, any kid that out of the 14, they basically have an unsheltered home.
I know. And you know what? I mean, not to take it into switch it into another thing. So that's why teach your kids, and it's really important to teach people that, there's other people who are going through it, and, be a little nicer to people. Like you don't just because teach your kids that, just because they don't have name brand this, name brand that, or, they're just not dressed like you. Mm-hmm. Like be nice to them. Yeah.
I think that was a big part missing from us, the immigrants that were coming here back 20 years. But I think we got taught to be nice to people just because that's part of our culture, to respect everybody. Mm-hmm. And be nice to them. But I think once we got to school, we kind of started learning to be bullies on that type of nature of like when people don't have brand stuff, when, unfortunately some people are smelly in class. Mm-hmm. And that's a good fact. Like you don't know what they're going through. And that could be one of them. They don't have a house to go to.
Yeah, and it's not their fault. Poor babies.
I see, yes. So it's our country is 40% out of the homeless population.
40%.
40%.
So we're 40%, and then the rest of the country
I would say
is like
about
the
the country or state. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not sure. Okay. Because San Bernardino is a big county.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're going off of that or they are going off of California itself. Mm-hmm. The city has increased 175%. Of homeless.
Our city?
Yes.
I can see that. That's
2017.
insane. Yeah.
And factors of this is basically not affordable housing, COVID, the relief program is over. And I will say that after COVID, a lot of these homeless were mostly known, not mostly known, but we're able to see a lot of them now. Like he mentioned, Coyote in our parks, on our neighborhoods, and it is a state of emergency for the same reason, because like a lot of people don't feel safe to go parks or go anywhere where you see these people.
Where it's supposed to be family friendly.
Correct.
Areas.
You wish there were family friendly areas.
Yeah, and they've been pretty much taken over by the homeless.
Right.
Because it is scary. Not only because of there's people who are probably not mentally stable, or they're, who knows what their background is. I mean, we don't know what anybody's it can be homeless or not. We don't know what their background is, but they can be like potential hazards that are left behind, right?
Yes.
Like, so they're like the needles and
well, that is part of the homeless. There is, unfortunately, it could be even as waste. Our own human waste that could be hazardous. So there's a lot to it, and we just don't think about it as as much as we want to help homeless. Like, we do have a lot of factors that come with it, and those are the negative parts of it. But San Bernardino is working to having a navigation center for them here in the year.
What does
they
that
want to
mean,
say 7 to a year. They want to have like a it's almost just like a homeless center. They want to go ahead and build one for them. We do have centers, but this one is basically a new one, and they want to focus to help these people on that. And they are providing about 224 beds for them, and other resources as mental health, a health center. They will have a washer and dryer for them. But this is still not enough. This is only perspective. Last year itself, a center that helped homeless was about 2,700 people. So you're only talking about a quarter of the amount.
Probably even less.
Yeah, it is less, but this is just, a fraction of it, basically. You're not even, como decimos los mexicanos, we're not even making a scratch out of it, but they are trying to work onto this subject.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just a start, just because it's only not even a quarter of people that they're being helped. But it's some, you have to start somewhere. Yeah,
I mean, you do, because if you don't, it probably is it's going to get worse.
And it is like here in San, I mean, when I moved here in San Bernardino, there was homeless people here and there, but like there's a park like near where we live, and there's literally a whole community now. Like,
that's where Coyote was basically mentioning. Like, it's not safe. That street or that part of the street.
Oh, absolutely
it's not. Lit up. So it is very dark, and unfortunately there's other buildings that have been abandoned, and people are going in there. So I know they're crossing probably back and forth, and we're talking about a big rig. So
that's
at the last minute, you're not able to see. So if you're listening on San Bernardino, maybe you need to put more lights out there.
More lights,
so Fifth Street, that it is.
Maybe that's something that we can do
street.
too. Like, we can probably just sign a petition, like, hey, light it up even more. And even like, I don't know how like the whole trucking business is going on there, but is it something separate? Can they do something? Because I mean, a car can like barely, like, también, like, they can stop a little bit faster, but you know how they said that like big rigs, you can't, and then también, like, who's going to be responsible? Because usually if you run somebody over, like, is it going to be the truck driver that's responsible for that, if they accidentally?
No, it's an accident. At the end of the day, it's an accident. I don't know if you remember, but that's, that Fifth Street, when they closed the bridge in Mount Vernon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
A lot of people are starting to go to Rancho Avenue and basically use that route to be able to go down to Colton.
Yeah.
There was recently a crash that somebody got hit. You don't remember that one?
No, I just remember that there was like
windshield and stuff got damaged.
No, I just remember that there's always car accidents right there on, is it Rancho or Rialto?
It's Rancho.
I know there's like a poor little, ¿cómo se dice?
It's just a little random street. I mean, you wouldn't even be able to tell that street goes all the way to Colton. But that is a route that you have to take now to be able to go there because we don't have the Mount Vernon Bridge.
I know. You know what? Yeah, lighting will definitely be really necessary. Or maybe even, I don't know, like, you know how there's a lot of homeless people there. You know how, like, I think it's on one of the streets where we live, and they have like the flashing one where the lights are flashing on the bottom of the side of the, like the crosswalk. There's like lights flashing. I think maybe that would be really helpful because, like, I mean, there's a lot of homeless that are probably going to be crossing. There's also like a wash there, so they're most likely going to be crossing there. And then the thing that sucks, like, it's like, let's say, yes, you know, it's an accident that, you know, one of the truck drivers accidentally, you know, it's an accident, right? Because they didn't see them. It's dark. Like what they will have to live with, right?
Yeah, I mean,
so it's just all the way around.
Nobody wants to do it.
Yeah,
nobody wants to go through that, unfortunately. But it could be a possibility that this happens to you. So yeah, maybe having more lighting, you know, be more cautious. Fifth Street, it's Route 66, so it's a main street that, you know, goes all the way to, I believe, LA, Santa Monica. So there's always traveling in that type of area. So yeah, just be careful if you are here from San Bernardino. Moving along with that, just the beginning of last year, I said 2,700 people were helped in these centers. The starting of the year here, and this is basically why we're seeing more, I believe, is they registered about 1,000 people on shelter homeless. Just the beginning of 2023. Like
people living in the shelters or just out there?
Just out.
How many again?
1,000. So I'm just saying, just saying, if last year we helped 2,700 people, now we're already half that at the beginning of 2023 was 1,000. So I would say probably this year we're going to be on the passing the 3,000s, almost 4,000 mark area that we have our people around here that are on shelter.
And see, I'm wondering, where do they all come from? Because I know there's homelessness everywhere. Like, I mean, LA, like, you know, Skid Row, it's been known for so long. So, like, where is everyone coming from? Like, why all of a sudden it's San Bernardino, you know?
Well, my dad used to always say that San Bernardino was almost the center of everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
true.
You know, that could be the possibility. Our metro does come straight here.
You're right.
That could be one of the factors.
We have the metro. Oh, yeah. We have the metro. We have the bus station. The bus station. It moved. Remember, the bus station was where was the bus station at? Did we even have a bus station?
Yeah, it was on. I want to say, if I'm not wrong, 2nd Street. It's on 2nd Street and.
Oh yeah, I remember I had to take it there. I remember I had to take the bus there, and it was so lonely. So they ended up moving from downtown San Bernardino. Well, it's still in downtown San Bernardino, but it was moved over to closer to the Metrolink, right? No, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, well, it's not downtown anymore. I think it moved past,
like a little bit past downtown.
For the same reason, it was just getting bad. And,
and they said, let's just. I mean, it's a nice little station, but yeah, I guess there's a station there where everybody pretty much gets off. Yes. And it's just like so crazy because like I would go to LA. Like I remember like when we would go to LA and like, dang, like you would see like the pretty much a community of tents. Like there was tents, there was homeless people, and I would say like, damn, that's so crazy. And then now we're seeing it here now it's a little bit closer.
Again, this is not a fact or not, but I mean, maybe we go to LA, but not a lot, right? But what I'm trying to say, maybe LA has Skid Row, but I think San Bernardino has more than that. We have people in one area, we have people in a different area. There's like little little homes everywhere. It's not just one street. We're seeing it like, you know, underneath the freeways, underneath the bridges, underneath, you know, parks. parks. So it is probably a little bit worse maybe than Skid Row.
No, I mean, I just feel like, see, because we're very familiar with like the streets in San Bernardino. Like we can go, like we could say, okay, I'm going to drive here and it's not like that there. I can drive, over here and it's really bad. But like, where all of where that park is at, is donde se empezó. Like empezó con maybe a couple, and then boom, like next thing you know, we saw a bunch. No, because
downtown did as well. They started taking over the benches of the bus stops.
But you didn't see tents.
Yes, on the tent park, you're correct. But I mean, still taking bus stops, benches.
Yeah.
That we see that. And I mean, I don't even think LA has benches. I think most of the time you have to wait standing for the bus.
No, because what a lot of the benches, what a lot of cities started doing with their benches, they would put like a little, kind of like a separator. Like, I don't know if you remember, like in downtown Rialto, hay como una bolita, like downtown Rialto, they put a bolita in the middle. But the reason why they probably started doing that was so that, the homeless wouldn't sleep on there, which sucks.
Yeah,
it's just such a big problem.
That's what I was saying. I don't recall any benches in LA to wait for the bus. And that could be one of the reasons.
You know what I'm thinking? I don't know if it just makes sense. Cause like, I'm trying to think, I know we were talking about Mexico, every country, every place has like, they have like the places where it's great, it's thriving. And then there's other places where like, they're still kind of stuck.
Right.
So like, maybe like, how like they're like that's what pretty much reminds me of like seeing all of those tents there is like people who are just still stuck. But it's just like, how do you help them, or do they even want help?
Well, there's some they do, some they don't. I think if you want help, and again, this is not everybody, but I think if you want help, at least you're trying to do something for yourself.
Yeah.
Meaning as, again, the best example that I can see, and because I see it all the time, Latinos are always trying to hustle, meaning selling tacos, selling chips, candy, flowers, whatever it is, but they're always trying to thrive for themselves. So that's why I'm using that example.
Yeah. No, I see what you mean. Like, si el que quiere, el que no, pues va a batallar.
And again, maybe there is going to be Latinos that are basically, on a harsh moment that you cannot say that some people haven't been homeless or, they have to ask for help.
Yeah. I mean, it's just sad. And see, like I've always wondered, like, how you can help. Like, how can you help? Like I'm thinking, like, there's just so many things that, people who are homeless, like, there's just so many things that you can do. But, just like everybody, just like just like us, like we have to find a way to make ends meet. Mm-hmm. And just like them, it's so easy. It's probably, I don't know, maybe they have a background, right? A lot of homeless people do have a criminal background because maybe they've had to, rob a store, rob or like do something to make ends meet. Yeah. So the way that we make ends meet, it's of course it's different for them. Like, so I don't know.
I will give you a percentage, and I have two more facts. And one of the facts on that's going to be like where they see a lot of homeless come from. So we will kind of try and put our opinion out there, but at the same time, our opinion is to help. We're not bashing on them because it sucks. It's part of being homeless. So let's see how
it's part of life.
Yeah, it's part of life. So we'll see how we can turn it positive. One other fact, like I mentioned at the beginning, there is not a lot of homes that are able to be affordable, and this at the statistics.
Yeah, you're good.
Show it from 2020 to 2022, 88,000 applicants waiting for listing for housing assistance. 88,000. You know how many only get helped because this is the only house we're able to provide? Do you have a margin? Do you have a
I want
number?
to say maybe like 3%.
3%
out of 100.
You kind of are right because only 10,000 of them get helped.
So like close, close enough.
Almost 3%, I would say.
I would say maybe like 10%.
But todos modos, it's a very small
It's
percentage.
a very small percentage. And see, that's where like my pet peeve comes in, because there's people who absolutely need it, right? Mm-hmm. There's people that really, really need it. And, you know, because they have a disability, maybe, you know, for whatever reason, they're just not able, están luchando, están tratando, you know, to make ends meet. And then there's people who take advantage of the system.
Yeah, like you're probably saying it, correct me if I'm wrong. Some people use the system when they don't really need it. And,
exactly.
You know, where other times, other people really need it, as you mentioned, mental health, seniors, situations. And yeah, you're right. I mean, we should be aware that, you know, some of these systems are for people that are in need. And sometimes you taking advantage of them can hurt the situations.
Which hence, people who are taking advantage of the situation, people who are living within the house, what did you call it? Housing, what did you call it? The housing support, pretty much housing support.
Yeah, it's like a housing support.
Yeah, housing support.
Navigation center.
Yeah, so people who don't need it are receiving the housing support, and people who actually need it, maybe that's why then there's so much homelessness, because there's people who, I mean, literally, like people who actually need the housing are outside, and people who don't need it.
Y para que nos hacemos pendejos, right?
Yeah.
We see Section 8 places and people, whether it be Mercedes.
You know what? That's embarrassing. Like, how are you going to be flexing all this money, all, you know, your cars and everything, and you're living in Section 8?
Again, if you need it,
you know what?
If you need it, use it.
If you need it, use it. But then, you know what if, you know, let me take a step back, because like I said, I like looking at different perspectives. What if whoever has their Mercedes, whatever, lost everything, they were thriving and they needed it, and maybe they're using it as a temporary support, right? Mm-hmm. And that's where it comes again, temporary, making it temporary. We're like, okay, we're gonna I don't know how whole Section 8 works, but like, you have until this time to get back up on your feet, and then you're gonna have to be out of here, right?
Yeah.
Because like, there's just like, now it's not just the 9 to 5. Now you don't have to worry about the 9 to 5. There's other things that you can work on, just like you said. You know, Mexicans, Hispanics. I'm not going to just say Hispanics, Mexicans, Hispanics. Like, I want to say that we're freaking hard workers. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't just settle for like, okay, 9 to 5. If the 9 to 5 is not working, then, you know, there's people selling fruit on the corner of the street. Like, qué vergüenza de que, you know, un americano que nació aquí tiene la oportunidad de trabajar, and they're just holding up a sign, I'm hungry, and there's another person has flowers in their hands, you know, for example, or a fruit, and it's like, I'm trying to make money versus just getting it handed to me.
Right.
Which is easier, right? Like, it's crazy, because I saw a story where like people who are holding up a sign are earning anywhere from like $20,000 to $30,000. I'm like, that's how much I was earning once upon a time, working a 9 to 5. I'm like, man, mejor también voy a escribir en un cartoncito. También, like, hey, like, damn, it's so much easier. But like, you know what? My pride, my joy to that
we're just trying to thrive for yourself and try to make the most of it. And again, everybody's going to have a harsh moment and somebody's going to need help. Mm-hmm. But as you mentioned, let's try to think about it temporary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as a temporary thing.
People do need it.
People do need it. And the help is not always going to be there. Laws are always going to be changing. So meanwhile, you do have that help. Meanwhile, you do have that housing support. Meanwhile, you have this, what is it? The SNAP? I don't know what it's called now. The what it's called? Food stamps. Meanwhile, you have the food stamps. Try to figure it out. And yes, you might need some more time, and you can request more time. Like, hey, you know what? I need to apply for this a little bit more, and just give yourself a little bit more time. But then again, there's the it's easier said than done, because, you know, I've thankfully, gracias a Dios que we've never had to go through that, right? Because we're both hustlers. We both try to make ends meet no matter what. Mm-hmm. And thanks to you, you know what? I know there's been times where, you know, it hasn't been great, and, you know, you've pushed through. I've pushed through.
Yeah,
no matter what.
We basically try to push ourselves. Mm-hmm. We're not saying we're not being like orgullosos and say we're not gonna use these type of
of help.
resources.
Yeah, resources, yeah.
But, we have tried to just push and push because we're able to, and somebody that is really in need to, have it.
Yeah, thankfully we have it. But like those who do need it, they're going to use it. And if in one day we do need to use it, then we know that we won't take advantage of the system because we know there's people who actually need it.
Right.
I mean, it's easy money, right? Who wouldn't want just the money handed to them? No, you wouldn't. No, because
Again,
like
everybody's different.
Everyone's different, but I think we both. I mean, speaking for like, okay, I guess I'll speak for myself, but from what I've seen is that we both thrive from making making an effort to make ends meet, to make our own money, even with what we're doing right now. Right? Like, even though we haven't had we're growing and we appreciate everyone's support, but we're growing and we're trying to do something that, maybe eventually we won't have to depend on like a 9 to 5 job or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, again, social media, we don't see it as that. Yeah. But yes, it's going to be probably rough at the beginning. But if you're able to make it, you're able to make something out of it without even thinking as like, oh, this could be my full-time job. This
can be your full-time job. Exactly. And that's that's what's freaking beautiful about our community. We talked about Mexico. We talked about, and that's something that, that's something that I do pride myself in our culture, not just Mexico, but again, the full Hispanic community, de que le echamos ganas y que no nos rajamos.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's true. And again, it sucks. And I don't want to put numbers out here, but I think this really shows that, as you mentioned at the beginning, there is about 61% that is American white that are homeless. And then on the other factor, and this kind of blew my mind, and I was like, what do they mean by non-Latino? So non-Latino is 64.3.
Non-Latino, 64.3.
So where do you think that comes from?
Maybe like Chicanos?
Yes. That's my thought as well. I was like, what? Non-Latino, what does this mean? I was like, what, they're talking about Chicanos? So we're still part of
us,
the white?
Right?
Yeah.
Well,
perdón.
No, not like you and me. Not like you and me, but like meaning like we are, somos heredados, tenemos herencia mexicana.
Yeah. Well, yo sí soy mexicano. I got my stamp for it. Pero,
so like me, not you, me.
But that's the thing. Yes, that's the thing. Like, it still sucks because we're like, what? Like, we were just talking about, Latino, no rajamos, but then part of us, we do. For whatever reason. I don't know why. I mean, it just blew my mind.
I would like to know, like, within those stats, what's the age? What's the age range as far as, what's the highest age range or what's the common age range? Okay,
well, to help you in this, and then this will be the last one of homeless, our opinion about it. Seniors, 65 plus, homeless, they just put a number out there, 173 here in San Bernardino.
173 yes. Hispanic Latino?
No, just seniors. 65 and
that's
higher.
That's so sad.
It is sad, but that's the number. They gave out a number. And I think because this is probably the lowest number we have as unsheltered or homeless. The 29% is chronic homeless. So it's almost like a repeat of homeless. So that's 29% of it. And then 20% of it is substance abuse or mental health disorder. Yeah. Now, I know you've mentioned this a little bit already. And we do see it, out there. Unfortunately, a lot of it that I can tell, it is from substance abuse. And this sucks. But I think we're lucky in one part because I've seen other cities that it's even worse.
Yeah.
And they're calling it like zombie cities because these people are literally just on the sidewalk that you're not able to walk through because, you know, they're in drugs.
Yeah, like you can literally get attacked. And sorry, go ahead. Sorry, finish off whatever you have to say.
That's it. And the most percentage that blew my mind, and my opinion, and I think I know why, is because us as men are always put as the household. We're always put
You hold it down, like you guys hold it down.
We have the wide shoulders. 72% it's males.
And you know what? Yeah, because like how many female like homeless... How many female homeless do you see out there?
Probably 2 out of the 10.
Yeah, because like I'm trying to
female.
think, like, you know, specifically trying to think, like in like whenever I go to the gas station, the one right here, like down the street, like how many male homeless people do you see, and how many female have you seen? And just, you know, just a couple of days, there was like maybe like 6 homeless guys. Like I'm trying to think like where they were sitting. So
yeah, that's
and then
what
there
we're
was
saying.
one female that was homeless.
Almost 3 females out of 10. 3 females out of the 10, right, are females, and 7 of them are males.
Yeah.
And I would say, I mean, can you agree or can you elaborate on
Agree,
it?
disagree?
That basically is because of that. We always had that we're the men of the household. You got to learn how to do it. And unfortunately, sometimes we don't. And a lot of the factor, in my opinion, I would say that we're missing maybe a father figure. And this is where the percentage comes from.
Yeah.
The higher percentage.
Yeah.
And, you know, it sucks as well because a lot of us men, we bash at each other instead of helping us and be like, hey, what's up? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Almost as like pettiness. But honestly, we need to change that and be like, it's not pettiness. It's like, brother, what you need? How are you doing? What are you struggling at? I can help you.
Like
Let me
within
help
your own
you.
family.
Yes. As a male. You just male to male.
Oh, like a man to man.
Yes.
There's just so many factors that can go into like why the majority are most men, right?
Right.
I mean, there can be so many other factors. Yes, it can be because, you know, there's a missing male figure in your family. But again, we need to pretty much change that whole what's the word I'm looking for? That whole narrative. Like we need to change that narrative where it's like, oh, I'm the man, this and this and that. Like it should be where like, okay, like I don't have to do this. Like my partner should be able to. That's a whole nother topic. But like my partner should be able to do the same thing.
Yeah,
but there's like this whole, you know, the female, the whole motherly, like the mom takes care of the kids. So the mom sees their little pollitos is like, yo voy a luchar a huevo, like a little Mexican slang, you know, a huevo, doesn't a huevo voy a luchar por mis pollitos, por mi familia. And the male, like, why? Like, where's that disconnection,
At
you know?
the end of the day, it should be a balance.
There should definitely be a balance. Yes. Mood, another topic about relationships.
But yeah, that's the last fact.
Yeah, the last.
And that's, you know, of homeless, like that's where it comes from, kind of. I mean, there's probably way more information out there, guys. But again, as you mentioned at the beginning, we don't know what people are going through. Yeah. So let's just be, you know, as nice as we can. And if we are able to help once in a while and it comes from our heart, let's try to do it. And, you know, there's a lot of factors to homeless.
I know right now they say just help whenever you can. I'm like, I'm conflicted with that, but I'm not going to get into that.
No, because again, if it comes from the heart.
Yeah, if it comes from the heart. If you really want to help somebody out, help them out.
Yes.
Don't help them out just, you know, I don't know. It's just...
No, I mean, again, I told you a story earlier. Like somebody asked me for something and I just told them like, I'm sorry at the moment. Like I wasn't rude about it. I was just like, no. And he kept bittering at me like blah, 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 blah. I'm not trying to put him down. But, you know, instead of me trying to put him down or say something back, I just went in my car and drove away because que nos vamos a ganar los dos.
I know. To be bickering at
even
each other.
sometimes that's even bigger than, you know, actually doing it and bickering at each other. Whatever. I could be in a bad mood. He could be in a bad mood. He could be in a bad situation. Me as well. So let's just try to be positive whenever we can. And by doing this, helping each other. Yeah,
helping each other. And all in all, you know what? I just gotta say, looking at oh my gosh, that tequila is getting to me. Ahorita voy a empezar a gritar la gritona. No, so I mean, like I said before, something that for me myself, speaking, what's he saying? So me, myself, and I guess speaking, ¿cómo se dice?
For myself.
Speaking for myself. Yeah, speaking for myself. I guess I've always prided and it's probably because the way that I was raised or the way that that I saw things growing up. I'm slurring my words. Am I drunk right now? I'm feeling my tequilas right now. But I mean, I really pride myself in earning, in earning whatever it is that I've accomplished, anything that I paying off my car. Mm-hmm. Like I'm super prideful about that. Like I did that myself. Well, no, not myself. Because there was a moment when, I lost my job. I wasn't employed. I did have to get assistance and you jumped in and you helped it out. But, you were hustling. You were trying to make, you were working 2 jobs at the same, at one point. And eventually I was like, you know what, pero no me quedé sentada. I was just like, I have to find something. And eventually, thankfully I did. And that's something that I'm really prideful of, that we both, as Hispanics, Mexican, this Mexican American and that Mexican over there,
yes,
we nos ponemos las pilas, andamos Mexican slang. No, we don't literally put on our pilas, guys. For those of you that don't know, but ponerse las pilas, because if, for example, for those that don't know what pónganse las pilas is, if a toy doesn't have batteries, it's not going to work. Mm-hmm. But if you put batteries on it, it's going to be like, let's go. Okay, so taking it back to it, but nosotros nos ponemos las pilas, a lot of Hispanics that se ponen las pilas, that they work to make their ends meet.
And thrive on that, that you're able to accomplish it.
Yeah.
Even as small as you believe it is.
Yeah.
But reverse it and say I did it.
You freaking did it.
Yes.
For us, for example, the whole social media thing, taking it back to the 9 to 5, yes, great. You can definitely thrive on a 9 to 5, but then you can also thrive on social media. Mm-hmm. And I feel growing up, I love being in front of the camera. And I'm now that I'm in front of the camera, I feel I've said it before, I feel it's boosted up my confidence. And then for you, what's something that you feel that you had mentioned to me, I think yesterday, before, what's something that thrives from you, from doing what we're doing right now?
No, it's the same as with Coyote, just his comment saying hey, I've been seeing this a lot. If I'm able to provide information to help out, mm-hmm, and just this small little talk, mm-hmm, good, great. And then that's what drives me to try and do this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, same. And luckily, we're doing this, right? We're trying to learn all of the nicks and this and this and that. So luckily with this weekend,
we were able to go to an event, mm-hmm, and basically we did learn a little bit, but I think this event, and I think it makes it easier for somebody to start, mm-hmm, trying to do social media or try to do something for themselves. This teaches you or gives you the background of the information that there's really not out there, or more like a personal one-to-one, mm-hmm, that you're able to, bring into yourself and be like, oh, okay, I do want to do it, or maybe, it's mm-hmm, not for me.
Yeah. And you know what? Okay. So this event that we went to, it's called Elevate. Mm-hmm. And it was just a bunch of, a conference where a lot of Latinos, content creators, filmmakers, producers, just a bunch of people that just came together to this conference. And personally, I feel like I did come out a little bit more motivated. I did come out with a little bit of more knowledge. What about yourself? How do you feel after coming out, after going to that event?
For me, I didn't really like it did. I'm not trying to brag, but it didn't really help me out that nature just because I said the background of it, they went more in depth into it. So that's nice to go to that type of event if you're starting.
Yeah.
Now, you know, with the year that we have already, and again, it is a year, so we kind of been handling the situation of, you know, what cameras, audio, lighting, like we kind of already knew that, but something they hit was more of like your own personal of like, this comes with it, meaning the bashing, the you're not gonna see the views, you're not gonna see the money coming in, you know, whatever.
What motivates you.
What motivates you and what brings you down at the same time. So they hit that. So that is nice to go to those if you're wanting to start something. Yeah. You know, just because they're very open and straight to the point, to be honest.
Yeah. And that's what I love. Like, there was some things that, you know, really motivated me and like kind of give you like insight of like what it's like to be like that. Because everyone, like literally everyone who is successful in social media, in production, whatever it is, like they were
from the gutter.
They started with like where we are, literally where we're at right now. They probably struggled with views. They probably struggled with audio. It's funny how they mentioned like we literally had a little mishap with audio.
A blooper,
right? A little blooper, right? With audio where it sounded like we were under a tunnel. So they've experienced that before. So I feel like that's where I was able to make a connection where it was like, oh, haha, like somebody like, you know, the memory was full. So that's something that where we were able to make a connection with them, like, oh, haha. And you saw me, like, I was like, oh, haha, like,
yeah, like again, we mentioned in the last one, you know, when we said like, hey, we know the audio was bad, but we still went through it. And again, maybe somebody that had an experience or has that type of mind to be like, this happened, but whatever, let's just push it out. Maybe that other person that hasn't experienced it or doesn't have that mindset wouldn't even done it. Yeah. So it's a good and a bad in some sense. But if you feel good about it to be like, I'm putting it out, whatever result it gets me, I'm okay with it, then great.
Yeah. And just really pushing it out there. And they just had, we got to see like a lot of panels. And one of the panels I was so proud of to finally like see, like to see is, you know, our very own, you know, from the Inland Empire, right? From the Inland Empire, we finally got to see. We've seen them before once, but we got to see them like showcase and put their word out there of how they're successful. Is IE and Friends, right? What is it? IE Network.
Yes.
Sorry if I totally butchered it.
IE Entertainment Network.
IE Entertainment Network. Yeah. So
one of the two, but yeah, shout out to you.
Yeah, shout out to you guys. So and I'm glad that we finally got to meet them, and you know they shared their pieces, how motivated they are, how they were speaking on how they first started and to where they're at now. And that's something like where we can be too as well. As long as we put in the work and seguimos luchando, just like you have, like, you know, I know I came in like halfway and I was like, okay, like I kind of know how social media and all of this works. But like after coming to this, it's just like, okay, like looking into their pages, looking into their content, like how does this pretty much all work? And they're Latinos.
Yeah,
you know?
and me briefing on to that, guys. If you are wanting to start something, don't be hesitate and go ahead and DM us at Las One y Nos Vamos in our Instagram. If you have any questions of like, you know, lighting, sound, microphones, any of that, we're willing to help. And I think this is what we saw that, you know, these events, it'd be nice if you are a brand type of content creator to go back just randomly and feed back to the community.
Yeah.
And maybe in the long run we would try and do that, but we can start by doing it now. As I mentioned, if you guys need any help of that type of nature, let us know. Just IE just and instant messenger,
or vice versa, right? Like the viewers, whoever, like if you're viewing this right now, I know it's towards the end already, so if you're viewing this and we're saying like, oh yeah, the lighting is great. If you feel like maybe, or like a content creator, if you feel like maybe there's something that maybe needs to be adjusted, or something that you think anything that you feel like the viewers will benefit from, like drop it in the comments, DM us. If you don't want to drop it in the comments, DM us.
Yeah.
And it's something that we honestly will appreciate, because I feel like we are both open to,
and there's always learning.
Criticism. We're always going to be learning.
Yeah, like we just learned last week or 2 weeks ago about the audio. We try to, pay a little bit more attention to. And again, we're human. There's always going to be error once in a while, so it's going to happen.
Technical issues.
But I am gonna say, shout out to Duno and Brownback and Letty as well, because they were able, or Duno was able to help us. Guys, we've been having a year on this podcast. We said that last time. And finally, you're able to find us in Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music. If you can see us, or like Duno said, you guys are a little bit too old already. You guys need to go ahead and put it on there to be able on the audio.
Yeah, because
so thank you, Duno, for kind of giving us that information. To be able to do that now for you guys. So look for us. And
I didn't even think about that, because we live in such a fast-paced world now, that not everyone has the time to watch us.
Right.
So that's why there's Spotify. There's it's literally just a type and a click away. You press play, and then if you're on a road trip, I go to Arizona. So when we went to Arizona, I think to Sedona, I was just kind of listening to it. I was just like, okay, let me listen to myself again. And it was, it's something that, I was driving. So it's really helpful, because you're listening to yourself again and you're learning.
Right. And it's helpful because the other part of it, maybe our age group is not of a visual, but they're more of a listener, or vice versa. Maybe they're not able to see it, but they're able to listen. And again, maybe in YouTube, you have to have it playing, running, and then you're not able to close your phone or lock it, but in this way you're able to lock it but still listen to it. So that's why it's a great way to have it on audio form.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I last night when you were working on it, I was just like, oh my gosh, we're on Spotify
again. It took us a year, but we're there again, guys. Again, it's a learning.
We're learning.
It's a learning procedure. Don't think everything comes like a flash of a light.
I know, and I'm so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're on Spotify. I remember before, I think it was Pandora and then Spotify. But, eventually we'll be on all platforms, annoying you guys.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
Well, anything else you have? And it was called Chicano Hollywood. If you guys ever want to look at it and elevate
follow
as
them,
well.
Chicano Hollywood with Johnny Murillo. He's a producer.
Okay.
Yeah, amazing.
Anything you guys have else more, Margarita? Or that was our last one in Nos Vamos topic for this week.
I'm ready to go celebrate Mexican Independence Day with the fiestas patrias. Fiestas patrias. I was like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. I felt like the Grinch. Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And we're going.
Okay. Well, you guys, again, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and go follow us in our new way of listening to us. Again, iTunes, Spotify, Music, Amazon Music, and Google Podcasts.
Cha-cha-cha-chow.
All right, we'll close it up, Margarita.
How does the himno nacional de Mexico go? Mexicanos a grito de... Oh, watch me butcher that.
Alrighty, let's go ahead. Peace out, guys.
See you guys. Bye. See you on the next one.
Peace.
Mexicanos a grito de guerra.